All right, well, Dominic's favorite guy, New Jersey Governor Christie, he is not in the worst of moods here tonight after the feds are being forced to recognize what the governor's been saying all along here, that he had nothing to do with the GWB lane closures. So far, feds, who 9 months ago, launched their investigation, they have found nothing tangible. They've acknowledged this at this point to link Christie to the scandal, and the governor says he's growing tired of the legislative committees that are doing the digging. Andrew, you disagree with the governor's interpretation?
Reportedly. Let's get that out there, and the U.S. attorney is not confirming that. So
right, and second of all, that he didn't have advanced knowledge. That's not saying that he's not involved, and that's not the U.S. attorney. So that's a very good point.
But he didn't plan it, and there's nothing linking him to the original link.
Yeah.
Now that we've nuanced this a little bit,
and it's a very important nuance.
It is thank you, sir. It is a very important nuance.
You know what he's going to go around saying? See, 9 months later, the witch hunts produced nothing. He's obviously motivated enough to go to the Iowas, the New Hampshires,
and he will.
And he's going to do that anyway.
But assuming that report is accurate and that he didn't have advanced knowledge or he didn't plan the lane closure, there's still the cover-up aspect, which there may be some stuff for him to get stuck in that.
All right. And he's tainted regardless.
Bottom
he's tainted
line.
regardless.
I'm glad you said it. Richard would have said I was not being fair to him.
I say this as an individual rather than an Astorino spokesman. Every time I see Chris Christie throw his arm around Andrew Cuomo, I think there's something with Bridgegate. I mean, the New York side knew exactly what was going on at the same time, and that arm keeps going around Cuomo over and over and over again.
You certainly hope so. You certainly hope so. Well, let me get
I was a fan of Chris Christie.
Well, let me get to the New York governor right now, where Mr. Cuomo says that he is ready to duke it out with his Republican challenger, Rob Astorino. While the governor is known to freeze some folks out, just as his effort teach out, he basically treated like, I don't see her, don't move around, even though she's 6'20". This time, he did. Astorino and Cuomo, they had a brief run-in at the business meeting in Warren County. Astorino asked the governor if he's ready to debate, and Cuomo said, yeah, you just tell me when. To that end.
Not quite. In fact, Rob had to basically stake the governor out in order to have an encounter.
That's on the photo of him waiting outside the door.
Yeah, the governor tries to ignore anybody running against him. And so Rob went up and they actually shook hands for the first time. The governor's still yet to say Rob, the name's Rob, the word Rob Astorino, the name Rob Astorino. And then Rob said, so we're going to debate. He said yes, and then Rob said when, and he brushed him aside and walked away. The Astorino campaign has emailed, has texted, has called cell phones, has called office phones, has sent a letter by snail mail, I've done emails again, and this afternoon sent a telegram. No, we sent a telegram this afternoon saying, you have said you're going to do debates. Why aren't you responding to our campaign?
Well, we offer this platform, and we'll extend this to the governor.
We accept. We've already accepted.
Yes,
we've already accepted your kind offer.
We shall move ahead. There's been some poll numbers out here, Andrew, and it shows maybe not any shockers here, but maybe a bigger gap than we thought on some of the races, especially some of the congressional races where you have this spread. Remember, this race is flip-flop between Republican and Democrat up in the district here in the 18th. Maloney up 8 points. And I know the numbers can be fungible, but still, that says something since, she certainly has name recognition being the former congressperson for the district.
Yeah, I mean, you factor in the margin of error that's a little bit closer. That surprised me. I think that's going to be closer on Election Day than at least that report indicates. This one's not much of a surprise. The one on the 4th, that's Nassau County, Kathleen Rice with a big lead over Bruce Blakeman. I think most people are betting that Kathleen Rice will win that pretty easily. This is from earlier in the week, Tim Bishop with a 10-point lead over Lee Zeldin. That's a little surprising only because he hasn't had that big a win over any of his Republican challengers in the last 3 cycles. But that one would surprise me if it wasn't. Yeah. Let me say this again. That one doesn't surprise me all that much.
Well, I want to get your take here, Scott, on John Rowland, the former Connecticut governor. You remember. He has certainly had a tough go of it. He went away for a while here, but this time, and this is where it goes from people feeling bad for him to being, even those closest to him, flat out angry. He's been accused once again of misdeeds, conspiring in fact to be paid for work on 2 political campaigns while disguising those payments in business deals. This again, a second felony conviction for Rowland, who resigned as governor following a scandal surrounding illegal gifts. And when lawmakers get in trouble, few people stand by them. Most people run for the hills. But when those people that are left that actually stick their neck out and try and find a landing spot for people that are a lot of times unhirable. I mean, who's going to hire somebody as a lobbyist or as an attorney in this particular case if you got convicted as a lawmaker? And people did for Governor Rowland. I had him on after he got out and everything else. He claimed to have found religion and everything else. And when you reoffend allegedly in a similar way, that in many ways is even worse than the crime itself, because you're letting down not just constituents, but the few people that had the courage to stand by you a second time.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, it's just stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stupid. Here he is essentially laundering money, which is what he did by working for somebody who was running for office and have the money sent to a real estate concern to have him being paid. I mean, what could he possibly have been thinking? I mean, the guy has served time in jail, so you just have to say, look, he's let everybody down by being stupid.
I think it's tactical. I think he's preparing to run for governor of Rhode Island. I think that's the strategy here.
That's funny to see Nancy for some advice, yeah. But for me, God knows in New York we've had enough electeds that have gotten in trouble, right? There's very few people who want to take your phone call when you get out, right? And the idea, I knew the guy who hooked him up with a radio thing, and he was doing well. He had a decent radio show with a decent listenership and everything else. And for him to do that, it's not just selfish and crooked and whatever else, but man, are you hosing the people who stood by you. It's just...
I mean, you get 1 second chance, if that. And when you blow that, there's no more sympathy from anybody. I mean, because you're right. People that are willing to go out on the line for you and out on the limb for you, when you burn them, I mean, that's just not okay.
When we come back, we pulled Mike off the line at the Apple store here. He'd been waiting here for 3 weeks, literally outside. So I'm going to have somebody trying to explain to me the mania, why anyone would spend, forget about weeks, days, even hours upon hours to buy something that you're going to be able to buy at a store not too long from now anyway, and it's going to be the same product. We'll get into that after this.